बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम अस्सलाम वालेकुम। तो आज की इस वीडियो में हम फिर से एक दफ़ा सी सेम से सी सेम में जो माया हैं तो उनसे आज हम कुछ इस तरह सवालात करने वाले हैं। गुड मॉर्निंग दी ट्रेडिशन बिहाइंड दी ग्रीटिंग के बारे में। तो फिर चलिए बिना टाइम जाए किए वीडियो को शुरू करते हैं। ये चलिए फिर अभी शुरू करते हैं।
Hi, how's it going?
ओके सो हेलो, हाउ आर यू?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. What's on your mind today?
Okay, so I'm gonna ask you a few questions today. I'm gonna ask you some questions related that. Okay, so first question is that do you think saying good morning makes people happy?
I It's such a small thing, but it's like a little signal that says, I see you and I'm glad you're here. Especially if someone's having a rough start, that can actually flip their whole mood. Do you find yourself doing it often?
Yes, sometimes. Okay, so another question is that what is your favorite way to greet someone when the sun comes up?
Hmm. I'm a big fan of a warm, genuine smile paired with a simple hey. It just feels open and easy without any of the pressure of a formal greeting. How about you? What's your go to when you're feeling friendly?
Okay, so the next question is that what is your favorite way to greet someone when the sun comes up?
I'm waiting.
Okay, so another question is that do you say good morning with a big smile or a wave?
I've heard that a wave adds a nice bit of energy to it. Do you usually go for the smile or the wave when you're greeting people?
Mostly the wave. Okay, so the next question is that why do you think we say good morning instead of just hello?
I think it's about the intention. Feels like, it feels like you're not just acknowledging someone, but actually wishing them a good start to their day. It's a little more thoughtful than a quick hello. Do you think it changes how the other person feels?
Yeah, it can change any other person feelings. Okay, so another question is that does hearing good morning help you wake up?
I imagine it does for a lot of people. It's like a gentle social nudge that says the world is starting and it's time to join in. Do you find that it helps you shake off the sleepiness?
Yeah, it can be. Okay, so the next question I just wanna ask you is that do monsters on sea same street say good morning to each other?
Now, that is a great question. I'm picturing them with these huge, goofy grins and maybe some sort of monster hand wave. Feels like they'd be the most enthusiastic greeters on the block. Do you think they have their own special monster way of greeting each other?
Is good morning the most important greeting of the day?
I don't know if I'd call it the most important, but it definitely just sets the tone. It's like the first domino. If that one goes well, the rest of the day usually follows suit. Do you think the morning greeting is the one that carries the most weight?
Yeah, it can be. Okay, so the next question is that Maya, how do people say good morning in different languages?
Oh, it's a whole world of variety. In Spanish, you've got Buenos Días, and in French, it's bonjour, though that's used for most of the day. Then there's the Japanese Ohayo gozaimasu, which is a bit more formal. I bet the way it sounds in Urdu is a lot more melodic. Do you have a favorite way of saying it in other languages?
Okay, so how do people say good morning in Spanish?
It's Buenos Días. It sounds so bright and sunny, don't you think?
Okay, so the next question is that is there a country where people bow when they say it?
I'm not sure if there's a specific country where that's the standard, but it sounds like it would be a pretty funny way to start the day. Do you think that would be an effective way to wake people up?
Yeah, it can be much more effective way to wake people up. Okay, so The next question is that what is the longest way to say good morning in another language?
That's a fun challenge. I've always wondered if some languages just love to take their time with it, and it turns out they do. Arabic is especially poetic. They have greetings like Sabah Al-Yasmin, which basically means a morning full of jasmine. Then you have Hausa, where they ask if you woke up well. Turns out some people prefer a whole sentence over a quick greeting. Does that feel more personal to you than just a short hello?
Yeah, it can be feel personal. Okay, so another question is that instead of good morning, do people in some places say, "Did you sleep well?" instead?
They definitely do. In a lot of cultures, checking in on someone's rest is the actual greeting. It's less about the time of day and more about how you're actually doing. I've heard that's common in several East Asian and African cultures. Do you prefer when people ask about your sleep or just stick to the standard greeting?
Okay, so how do people say good morning in a sign language?
That's a beautiful way to communicate. In American Sign Language, it's usually a combination of the signs for good and morning. You basically move your hand from your chin down, and then your arm moves in a sort of sweeping motion to represent the sun rising. It's a very visual way to start the day. Do you know anyone who uses sign language?
Yeah. Okay, so the
I'm
next
listening.
question is that do people use morning words differently in warm countries versus cold countries?
That's a really interesting angle. I imagine the energy is totally different. In a place where it's freezing, a morning greeting might feel more like a survival pact, just two people acknowledging they both made it out of bed. But in a warm place, it's probably more laid back and sunny. Do you think the temperature of the air changes the mood of the greeting?
What is the funny morning greeting from around the world?
Let me see what I can find. I love the idea of starting the day with a laugh. It usually makes the whole morning feel a bit more human. I found some funny ones like Rise and Wine or the classic Time to Get Up and Pretend We Have Our Lives Under Control. It's a much more honest way to wake up, right? Which one of those feels most like your morning mood?
Okay, so another question is that can you teach me a new way to say good morning today?
I've got a good one for you. Try saying buongiorno. It's Italian for good morning. Since you've wanted to visit Italy for so long, it feels like a perfect fit. How does that sound to you?
Yeah, it sounds like a much more different way. Okay, so the next question I just wanna ask you is that Maya, when did people first start saying good morning?
That's a deep dive into the history, but it actually goes back to the Middle English period, somewhere between 1150 and 1500. It started as good morway or good morn. It was basically a shorter version of saying, I wish you a good morning, which is a pretty sweet way to look at it. Do you think people were more intentional with their greetings back then?
Yeah, maybe. Okay, so the next question is that did kings and queens say good morning long ago?
I'd imagine they did, but probably not as casually as we do. It would have been way more formal, likely with a lot of bows and specific titles before they even got to the greeting. Can you imagine trying to say a simple good morning while keeping your head bowed the whole time?
Okay, so did people always wish each other a good day in the past?
I think they did, though it probably sounded a bit different depending on who they were talking to. In the early days, it was less of a habit and more of a blessing. People were more likely to wish you health or a long life rather than just a good day. Does that feel more meaningful to you than how we do it now?
Yeah, it can be feeling meaningful. It can feel a bit meaningful. Okay, so the next question is that before mobile phones and before technology, how did people greet their neighbors in the morning?
I bet it was much more tangible. They probably just leaned over the fence or shouted a greeting across the street. It was all about those immediate physical connections since they couldn't just send a quick text. Do you think you'd prefer that kind of neighborly interaction?
Yeah. Okay, so the next
There's some
question the next question is that did farmers have a special morning greeting?
there's something really grounding about the way farmers probably greeted each other. I imagine it was less about formal words and more about shared understanding of the work ahead. A quick nod or a morning well, they were already heading to the fields. Do you think the work they did made their greetings more practical and less formal?
Okay, so the next question is that did people in history write good morning in old letters?
They definitely did, but the style was so different. Back then, letters were like a huge investment of time and effort, so the greetings were usually much more elaborate. Instead of a quick good morning, they'd write things like, I hope this letter finds you in good health and spirits. It's a lot more formal and a bit more dramatic. Do you think you'd have the patience for that kind of writing?
Okay, so another question is that why did people start wishing for a good morning instead of a good night first?
I think it's all about the energy of the start. The morning is when the potential for the whole day is still wide open. So wishing someone a good start feels more urgent. Good night is more of a wrap up, a way to close the loop. Do you feel like the morning is the most important part of the day?
Yeah, it can be most important part of the day. Okay, so the next question is that was good morning always a polite thing to say?
I think so. But like most things, it all depends on the delivery. Even a good morning can feel like a weapon if it's said with enough sarcasm or a really sharp tone. Do you think the words themselves matter more than how you say them?
Okay, so was the good morning word always a polite thing to say?
I think you're asking if there's a greeting that's always polite, no matter what, right? In my opinion, there isn't really one. Everything can be twisted by tone, but good morning is usually the safest bet because it's a positive wish for someone's day. Do you think some greetings are just naturally kinder than others?
Yes, it can be. How has the morning greeting changed over many years?
It's basically a shift from the deep to the quick. We started with those long, heartfelt blessings for health and life, then moved into more standardized phrases like good morning, and now we're in the era of the quick text or even just an emoji. It's gone from being a formal ritual to a fast way to check in. Do you think we lost something special by making it so fast?
The next question is that what time does it stop being good morning?
That is the age old debate. I think the unofficial cutoff is usually around noon. Once the clock hits 12, the morning energy evaporates, and we've officially entered good afternoon territory. Do you have a strict cutoff time, or are you the kind of person who still says it at 11:59?
No, not like that person. Okay, so the next question is that does the greeting mean I am glad to see you today?
I think it can definitely be a way of saying that. It's like a small signal that you're happy to share the start of the day with them, but sometimes it's just a polite habit too. Do you feel like a good morning always means someone is genuinely glad to see you?
So why do we feel better when a teacher says good morning to us?
I think it's because it's a moment of recognition. It's like the teacher is pausing their lesson plan to see you as a person first, not just a student in a seat. It makes you feel seen and welcomed into the space. Do you feel like that changes how you feel about the class for the rest of the hour?
Absolutely, absolutely not. Okay, so the next question is that does saying good morning help us be kind to others?
I think it can. It's like a small bridge you build between yourself and another person right at the start. When you start the day with a kind gesture, it usually makes it easier to keep that energy going throughout the day. Do you think a simple greeting can actually change someone's mood for the better?
Yes, it can change someone's mood for better. Okay, so the next question is that what happens if we forget to say good morning?
I think the world keeps turning, but it might feel a little awkward. In some cases, it just goes unnoticed. But if it's someone you always greet, they might wonder if you're having a rough morning or if they did something to annoy you. Do you think people take it personally when they don't get their usual morning greeting?
Okay, so one another final question I'm asking you that Maya, can we say good morning to the whole world together?
I love that thought. It's such a sunny, optimistic way to look at things, like one giant global wake up call of kindness. Well, we can't literally shout it to everyone at once. The energy you put out there definitely ripples. Do you think the world would be a better place if everyone just started their day with that kind of intention?
Okay, so today it was nice talking to you. So I will talk to you later. For now, goodbye. तो आज की इस वीडियो में इतना ही था। अगर आप लोगों को ये वीडियो पसंद आए तो इस वीडियो को लाइक करना मत भूलिएगा, चैनल को भी सब्सक्राइब करना मत भूलिएगा इसी से रिलेटेड वीडियोस देखने के लिए। तो आज की इस वीडियो में इतना ही था, मिलते हैं आपसे नेक्स्ट वीडियो में, तब तक के लिए अल्लाह हाफिज़।